We respectfully request the great virtues Sangha, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung đến đại đức tận thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sadanto Suche Do Ye La He Di San Miao Tan San Puto Xie. Nam mô Tạc Đạc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Ha De Tam Miao Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jie wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin dian wen de shou chi, Yuan Jie Ru Lai Cheng Chü Yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Huideng, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Left people, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖师父、上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Lục Tổ, Hòa Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is 17th October 2021. Thank you for coming to our gathering to continue discussing the very end of the 6th Patriarch Sutra, the last part of the 10th chapter. I made a change here on this thing here, and the request of Dharma, the great virtues. There's a difference between great virtues and great virtuous. Okay, please change it. I changed it last time. I don't know what happened to it. Last time, we spent a lot of time doing the translation of the Venerable Huideng's final verse, his pupil. So we expended a lot of energy. So I think I want to stress to you that this is the kind of verse you want to memorize yourself when you meditate. And you should recite this verse here, okay? And would help your meditation quite a bit. Okay? Okay, so just memorize these 4 lines. Alone and diligent, do not cultivate the good. Sore and sore, do not do evil. Still and stiller, cut off sight and sound. Broad and broader, the mind unattached. Just memorize it, recite it. When you contemplate it, just keep on going over the verse over and over and over again when you meditate. Okay, that's all you have to do. I feel this verse is a little bit better than the previous one, which we did with the Southern language. A little bit too long, and it could be a little bit confusing for you. Okay, and the meaning as you recite it, and you understand that alone and diligent, meaning that this journey is you, yourself, you're on your own. Do not count on anyone else, okay? And you are the army of good, okay? So good is your nature. This is what we do. That's who we are. So there's no point in thinking about good anymore, all right? So alone and diligent, so you practice diligently. And you alone must practice with vigor. And soar and soar. Okay, in order to soar, the requisite is avoid doing evil. This is our secret. You know, when you do evil, that's when you get in trouble. You get all kinds of obstructions. When you do evil, the millions of obstructions, Dharma doors of obstruction will be open to you. And you will suffocate, okay? You can't handle it. And this is what differentiates us from people in the world. Left-home people do not do evil. Left-home people are not underhanded. Left-home people do not manipulate. Left-home people do not stab people in the back. Left-home people do not make master lose his face. Still and stiller, okay? Cut off sight and sound, okay? Meaning that you need to still your mind, stop thinking, okay? And drop those thoughts that arise, okay? And do not attach like worldly people to sight and sound. And finally, broad and broader, okay? The mind should not be attached to any state. Your achievement is too small to be attached to. Okay, let go. You can do a lot more than that. Okay? It's not for you to understand, just repeat these verses. I'm pretty happy with the English translation. It preserves a lot of the original Chinese teaching, okay, and we add more interpretation for you, especially when you added still, stiller, broad and broader, and so forth, okay. So I feel that because of this explanation in English, and we explained for you, you'll be at an advantage over the Chinese if they were just to simply recite the verses in Chinese. Okay. All right, any questions? Where were we? Okay, so before he left, interestingly, he meditated with his disciple. Okay, the last act is not to pardon people like presidents or pardon turkeys. No, he meditated with his pupils. Okay, and then he says, goodbye. I'm leaving now, okay? Be well, right? Okay, we on slide 298, Sutra text. In an instant, he changed, and a rare fragrance filled the room. A white rainbow linked with the earth, and the trees and the wood turned white. The birds and the beasts cried out in sorrow.
嫣然千化，于时异香满室，白红属地，林木变白，禽兽哀鸣。
Okay, 299. In instant, he changed. Okay, he changed, meaning in an instant, when he said, "I'm leaving now," instantaneously he died. That is to prove to you that these great monks can have total control over their lives. They can choose to go whenever they please, live as long as they want. Yes, 8.
Catholic Daniel is asking, what do you mean by losing faith?
Losing faith. Let me think about that. It's a Buddhist thing that I'm not sure how to answer to the Catholic, non-Asian Catholic. Okay. What does losing faith mean to you? Okay, it's an Asian thing. If someone Asian explain it to him. He doesn't come from an Asian thing where in Asia we value, our faces. That's why we have a lot of plastic surgery. Okay, he changed, so he died instantaneously. Okay, so he left his body, and a rare fragrance filled the room. This rare fragrance here is not from him. Okay? Because monks do not wear perfume. The rare fragrance here is from the beings, spiritual beings, who came and make an offering to him. Okay? So most likely it's from the heavenly beings who came down and offered the fragrance. Okay? As the last act of offering to him. Okay? And a white rainbow linked with the earth. Okay? And at that time, there's a white rainbow. Not sure that the rainbow has 7 colors or not, but it says the rainbow is of the color white. I'm sure that some wise Asian people can explain to us why there's a rainbow is white, but it's not colorful. It's white. Maybe white symbolizes sorrow. Okay, funeral. Yes, number 3.
The white is a blending of all the colors, and to me it felt like everything became one.
Became one with white?
White is actually, in the color spectrum, is all the colors.
All the colors.
Together.
Okay. All right. So the white is from the combination of all the colors. You put the white color through prism, then you have 7. Splits into 7. All right. Fine. Okay. Link with the earth. All right. So it's a beautiful thing. What can we say? Huh? All right. And the trees in the wood turn white. White is white now. The tree becoming white. That's so apparently heaven and earth were moved. Okay, and birds and the beasts cried out in sorrow. Okay, so the birds and the beasts knew. How would they know? Clearly, these birds who cried out were not ordinary birds, not ordinary beasts. Okay, all right. So they can tell. Yeah, so most likely they're bodhisattvas in the bodies of birds and bodies of beasts. Okay, but the Buddhists, the Chinese, the very, how shall we say it? They're very discreet. They don't elaborate on this because they said, let's not make a big deal out of this. Okay, let's not call this a miracle, if you will. Okay? This is emotional moment that's not monetizes. All right? It's a private thing for these birds and beasts who felt great sorrow. Let's not exploit this. Let's not talk about why this is beautiful fragrance. They didn't even elaborate on what kind of fragrance. Is Chanel No. 5 type or it's a Chandana fragrance? No, it's a rare fragrance. All right? Yes, number 3.
Thank you, Master. It's interesting to me that a rainbow linked with the earth is described here because that's also talked about in Viking culture. It's a rainbow bridge is what takes you from this world to Valhalla.
Valhalla. Yes. Valhalla is the Viking heaven, nirvana, if you will. Okay, our nirvana is their Valhalla. Yeah. All right. You see, it's a wonderful, wonderful happening. Okay, so people were touched, and not only people, but the heavens were touched, earth was touched, and even insentient things like trees in the wood turned white. Okay, so the spirits live in the trees. Okay, so spiritual world were in sorrow, and then the animal realm, the birds and the beasts, were very sorrowful. Okay, it's a sad, sad moment for us, living beings. Why is it sad? Sad for us because we lost. This is a big loss for us, big loss for all of us. Okay, 300. In the 11th month, a dispute arose among the officials, disciples, Sangha, and laity of the 3 countries of Guangzhou, Shaozhou, and Xinzhou as to who should receive the true body.
广绍新3郡官僚资门人僧俗真淫真身。
Okay, 301. Master YongHua has a comment. He says those from Guangzhou, on that province, wanted to take the body to Faxing Temple. Their reasoning was the 6th Patriarch has his head shaved there, and therefore he should return there to receive offerings. The Xinzhou people claimed that the great master is a native of Xinzhou, therefore he should go home. And those in Shaozhou insisted that that's where the 6th Patriarch taught. And therefore he should go back there and for people to come and revere him. So all these have, all those people have their own reasoning, and they all make sense to me. So what do? 302. As they could not agree, they lit incense and prayed, saying, the master will return to the place indicated by the incense smoke.
莫觉所知，乃焚香导日，香烟指处，失所归焉。
303. So they fought. Okay, that's what people do. Okay, and when it's disappointing to me that I didn't care. Even I read this thing as the officials, the disciples, Sangha, and laity. Okay, 3 counties, not countries. There's an R, extra R here. they fought. Okay. Actually, there's a Chinese word that says all these people, all these three counties, whether it's official, whether it's lay people, or what is this word here? Disciples? Sun Su, okay, the sun here. Okay, so these monks fought, which is disappointing. Okay, and these clearly are not disciples of his. Okay, because the last thing you want to do as his disciples is to fight over his body. It's a rather distasteful thing to do. Okay, it's not how you honor his memory, but fighting for his body. Yes, number 3.
Master, I'm wondering how much of this tiff is a more cultural, historical, as opposed to aspirational, spiritual. I believe that geography and kingdoms and power was real important to that part of the world during these times. And I'm wondering if where 6th Patriarch would or could be buried doesn't really have anything to do with the spirituality of the situation.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. To me personally, it's perfectly okay to be sorrowful, to feel sad. Okay, it's a natural and it is a healthy human feeling. Okay. But to fight for the body indicates that these people really don't understand the Dharma. Sorrow for your masters should be a private thing. Maybe you could get together and drink tea or Starbucks or liquor over it, okay? But it's not something that you go out and advertise with sorrow, our sorrows and with our grief because our great master left us, okay? It's not something you're supposed to do, okay? It's a very private affair, if you will, okay? And it's respected. I will respect that, okay? Nothing wrong with feeling sad, okay? Of course. It is, you get attached to him because he did so much for you. So it's natural for you to express your sorrow as a form of gratitude, okay? Even for the enlightened disciples, okay, they feel sorrowful too because they're extremely grateful to the great master, Huineng, okay? But you see, these people should take clue from these enlightened people who did it in a private manner. Okay? That's from wisdom. Instead, these people, that's why to me it's disappointing that the Sangha would engage in dispute of where the body is going to go. It doesn't speak well for the people who ran these temples. Okay, if you were the abbot of those temples, you allow these people to fight to bring the body back to your temple, you should be ashamed. I would abdicate, resign, because that's not what I represent. Okay. So disappointing to me that the Sangha is involved in fighting for this. Okay, it's unworthy of the Sangha representative of the great Dharma that the Master brought to China. Okay, and so they couldn't agree. So this is what the Buddhists do. They have all kinds of tricks. This case here, they chose to light the incense and ask for his guidance. Okay, so that's what these people understood. Let's move on. 304. The smoke went directly to Caoxi and so on the 13th day of the 11th month, the reliquary and the transmitted robe and bowl were returned there.
十香烟直管曹溪，11月13日，千神龛凭所传衣钵而归。
Reliquary, what does that mean? Huh? Reliquary. What? So the body? Coffin? Can we say coffin or no? It's not a coffin. But he's not cremated. How could there be relics? Yeah, one person at a time, please. Go ahead, ladies first. Number 4.
Reliquary to me is holy objects related to his person. So maybe pieces of hair, pieces of clothing that they kept as sacred objects.
So all well, in this case here, the whole body, basically. Very good. Yes, 3.
I'm supposing that that's not with the body.
Not with the body. But
That he was cremated, and the reliquary is what's left. The robe and bowls and so forth like that were sent to where the incense smoke pointed.
I don't think he was cremated at all. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this photo here. Could be the photo or the deep fake. Yes, did you have something to say, 3?
Thank you, Master. I mean, at this point, he kind of brings a new definition to whole body sharira.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't his whole body be the relic?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I had a question.
True.
Was it not customary to make your wishes known before you passed away at this time?
Okay, good question. Shouldn't he have given instructions as what to do? He did it on purpose. He left a whole body relic. And he definitely knew that people would fight over it. Is it to expose the bad monks and nuns? Or what? What do you think? Why? Why didn't he give any instructions? To avoid all these conflicts and make the master lose face. Which is worse for the Chinese. You don't want to make the Chinese lose face. Yeah? Why? Maybe he forgot. He's like after meditation, he forgot about I'm running behind schedule. Let's get out of here. Huh? Okay. Any insights from a Chinese? This is where there's an advantage to be Chinese. You have all this built-in DNA that we're not pre-programmed with. He just left no instructions. So that's what happens. Okay. It also shows that from his perspective, I'm gone, so I don't care what you do. Huh? Right? And after I died, you still bother me. You still ask me for input. I mean, what kind of people are you? Now you know why I'm in a hurry to get out of here. Yes, number 4. KNBC.
It seems as though the robe and the bowl and even the body were objects of use while he was here, but they're just objects, and he doesn't really.
Yeah,
he wants to show them they're not important.
They're not important to him from his perspective. Okay, so what it means to me is that because it's not that important to him, therefore, can we say this? And Chinese people do not be offended. I have a way of offending people. I don't know why. Why it happened today happened to be Chinese. And therefore, wherever it goes is the least important place to me. It's like he doesn't care. If you really have wisdom like he does, they will say, you have it, I don't want it. You understand? Only you, sticky, IKEA people, and so you're so sticky, you want my body, you want my rope, you want my bowl. I mean, my goodness, it's just inanimate objects. Who cares? What's the matter with you? Why would you want it? Why do you want my body? Yeah. 3.
Thank you, Master. I think the reason there would be so much discussion over this is because when you're in the presence of a Sharira, it's like being in the presence of the Buddha themselves. So it has value beyond a discarded, stinky meat sack.
True. It is so true. He's right that the ropes mean something, has historical meanings. Yes? The bowl, must be worth a lot of money. Imagine we have that bowl and put it on eBay. Okay? And the body, clearly, the body is a marvel when you think about it. So all these 3 things are extraordinary things. I agree. These are of great value to us. If you are a Buddhist disciple nowadays, I imagine people would be willing to bid billions of dollars for that bowl. I would if I had that money, that kind of money. Okay? And so I agree with you. There's certain of great value to the world. Okay? But for his enlightened disciples, they mean nothing. That's why they didn't fight for it. So that's why you have 2 worlds where the enlightened disciple world, okay, they grieved privately, okay, and the outside world where they made a big deal out of it, okay, and so that's how it is, okay. So regardless, when you think about it, even if he gave specific instructions, what makes you think they will not fight? Remember, when your grandfather died and he left a will, did your parents, your uncles and your aunts argue, especially if they left behind a lot of money? There's lots of lawsuits going around, yes? That's what happens. So it doesn't matter if he gave instructions or not when you think about it. These people, the people from the 3 counties would fight regardless. They say, I don't believe it. There's no proof he gave such instructions. and so forth. So it's not worth it. Okay, because the unenlightened, they still confused people will do what they do, regardless. All right? So that's why I went to YongHua. Huh? Interesting. All right, 306. In the following year, on the 25th day, the 7th month, the body was removed from a reliquary, and disciple Fang Bian anointed it with incense paste.
次年7月25日初刊，弟子方便以香泥上之。
Okay. 307. Remembering the prophecy that his head would be taken, the disciples wrapped sheets of iron and lacquered cloth around his neck for protection, and then placed his body in the pagoda.
门人意念取首之际，乃以铁叶七布固护尸颈，入塔。
308. Just then, a white light appeared within the pagoda, shot up into the sky, and did not fade for 3 days.
忽于塔内白光出现，直上冲天，3日始散。
Miracle. So the translation of ta into pagoda is a good translation. To me, ta, like stupa. That's where you put the relics. Pagoda is more like, I don't know, a pagoda with the statues of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. But stupa is where you put the relics. Yes? Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right? So they have these they took it out, and then some white lights appeared within the stupa, shot up into the sky, and did not fade for 3 days. Okay, more miracles. Okay, 310. The magistrate of Shaozhou reported this to the emperor and received an imperial order to erect a stone tablet commemorating the master's conduct in the way.
少州奏闻，奉敕立碑，祭师道恨。
Help me out. Conduct in the way. What does it tell you? It's a little bit confusing to me, the translation. Conduct in the way. For us Westerners who don't understand Buddhism, what is this conduct of the way? Yes.
Master, it makes complete sense to me. It makes sense to me.
Makes sense to you? Okay. Why?
It's really straightforward.
Okay. Straightforward to you. Okay, give it back to him. Yes, you have something to say. 3.
Thank you, Master. I think it could be more articulate for a Western person who's not a Buddhist, if that's the question. Like, the force was strong with this one, maybe more specific, for instance.
Okay. Praise the Lord. Okay. Conduct in the way. How would you convey this? How would you say it? This is referred. Can we agree on this? Let's talk about. I don't know how to explain this, because the reason I ask is when I first started, this conduct of the way, that kind of thing, for Western educated person who has no background, Buddhism, very little background, it's unclear, it's confusing, if you will. Okay? Yes? How would we convey this concept?
So one way could be in some way identifying profound accomplishments in cultivation.
Cultivation, okay, yes, number 4.
Along those lines, I was thinking like commemorating the master's superior cultivation.
Master's what?
Superior cultivation.
No, we don't need to qualify it. See, you need to be true to the Chinese concept of Dao Xing, which means that Dao is the Buddhist way, okay, practice the way.
Proper cultivation?
Huh?
Proper cultivation?
Proper cultivation. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
You could say like spirituality.
Spirituality, no, we stick to conduct. There's some kind of conduct of the Buddhist way, but I'm not sure how to convey it. Yes.
The kind of a Catholic approach to this is when they identify saints.
Okay.
They'll describe the saints' skills or achievements that separated them from normal people. So, like Saint Francis of Assisi had an affinity with animals.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if there was...
So what affinity does it have with you? As far as you go?
He's the 6th Patriarch?
Okay. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Yes, 6. Did you have something to say, 6?
Yes. Master, what about commemorating the Master's conduct in cultivating the way? You could put the cultivating in brackets to show it's sort of an insertion, but it might clarify the notion of way.
No, it's too long, Xianjie. It detracts from the meaning of this. They're trying to tell us, okay, this emperor, what does he, what is he doing? Let's think about what message is the emperor trying to tell his people? Huh? And the emperor says, the master, this great monk here, practiced the Buddhist path. Right? So he wanted to commemorate this life of this great monk here who practiced the way. So my problem is not the words, it's the way they put together. In the way, to me, okay, personally, is superfluous. Okay? He says his life is to practice the way. That's all he says. But the emperor says, see, he practiced the way. That's why I want to commemorate this. He spent his entire life practicing this Buddhist way. And that's a tremendous achievement. Okay? Yes, 3.
Presence in the way.
Presence in a way.
Master's presence in the way.
Conduct is wrong. You agree with that or not? It's not about conduct, it's about the practice. Practice denotes doing something. Conduct is more like it has moral judgments, yes? It has I prefer practice because that's all he does. Practice is about doing. Okay? All right, so in my opinion, to commemorate the master's way practice, I can live with that. Or practice off the way, not in the way. In is wrong. Practice off. It's very simple. He lived his entire life to practice the Buddha's way magnificently. That's what the emperor is trying to say. It's not a conduct. He said he spent his entire life doing the Buddha's work. You agree? So this translation is off. It doesn't understand. It doesn't take into consideration perspective to the emperor who says, I'm the emperor. I always see, I see this big picture. I see this man there, this monk there, who is a shining example of how a monk should live his life and contribute to Buddhism and to my empire. That's his perspective. So you, monks and nuns, should use him as a standard for your practice of your Buddhist way. Okay? And that's how you can contribute to my empire. Does it make sense to you? This is where he's coming from. The emperor is a selfish, dude. He doesn't care about Buddhist way or not. Okay? All he cares about, what he's doing there is a great thing and it benefits me greatly, benefits my people greatly. And what way? The Buddha way. Does it help? So, that's, maybe we change the practice of the way is fine, or way practice. Either way, I can live with that. Conduct in the way, I cannot live with that. It's a little bit off. It's a bit off. Okay? Can we agree on that? We still need to argue over this. Q&A. Let's give Q&A a chance.
Master, how about like excellence or excellence? Yeah, excellence.
Excellence.
In the way.
Okay. Excellence. In the way. Excellence has judgments in there. Okay? That's not the original meaning in Chinese. Okay? Daniel, put yourself in the boots of the emperor. Emperors rarely use excellence because the only one who's excellent is moi. No one else deserves to be called excellent except moi. That's how emperors think, I think. I've been an emperor a long time ago, so I kind of forgot how it's like. But, that's moi. Okay? So, but you all understand the concept behind here, but you don't understand how the emperor speak. Okay? You captured. Excellent is what he's trying to say. Yes, absolutely. But he will not say it except for himself. Okay? All right. Moving on. So the magistrate of Shaozhou, meaning I think magistrate is more like the governor nowadays, reported to the emperor. Okay. Brown-nosing to the emperor and say, "Oh, your Highness, Your Excellency, you need to know about this." You see, remember, hey, Sensei Daniel, remember Your Excellency, okay? Because only you are excellent. No one else can be excellent. Okay. and he received an edict. It's an edict, imperial order edict, to erect a stone tablet commemorating a master's conduct of the way conduct. Okay. Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. I know it's one more word, but, nowadays when someone gets awarded a Nobel Prize for peace, for the many categories, they're really setting an example by who they award it to. So I think it's not that the emperor is commemorating his exemplary practice.
Yes.
So I think exemplary would be the simplest way to award, just to signify what the emperor is commemorating.
Anyone else agree, disagree with him? I agree with him. Okay? But that's the modern day way of thinking, of stating things. But if you do that in meaning, it's correct, but it is a wrong translation of the Chinese. So we need to compromise. We can talk about his excellent conduct in the way and so forth, exemplary and so forth, but we don't want to translate and add more to it, which is, if you do that, I would not trust your translation, in other words. Okay, what we're doing is we're translating from this ancient Chinese text, ancient scripture that has wisdom, meaning that you have to honor the wisdom from a person who transcribed it for us. So that's not add or subtract from it. That's how we show our appreciation. All right? So I would not add exemplary, I would not add excellent, I would not add anything. Just translate rawly, practice, way, practice of the way, okay, as the Chinese emperor meant, okay. So in a way, we preserve the Chinese culture, okay. So it's a moment in time for us, it's a time stamp. That's how it is back then. Today would say yes, you're exemplary and you're most excellent and so forth. But back then they don't talk like that. All right, moving on. 312. The master's springs and autumns were 76. The robe was transmitted to him when he was 24, and when he was 39, his hair was cut.
诗春秋70有6，年24传1 39著法。
Okay. So the Chinese said they say springs and autumns. Chinese people help us out. Why do you guys talk like that? Huh? Please, it doesn't make sense to me. Can't you say he was 76 years old? We have to go spring, summer, and autumn. Now, and to me, I say, what about winter? Why do you discriminate against summer and winter? Why you only focus on springs and autumn? I mean, you're supposed to be a language of wisdom, and yet you count wrong. It's illogical. Okay, Chinese people, to the defense. Q&A.
Possible reason is so one possible reason is Chunqiu, spring and autumn, is an ancient text of history. So from then on, Chunqiu become it refers history or time past. It's a Chinese thing.
It's Chinese thing, okay? So it's like a literary or poetic way of putting things for the refined Chinese. Is that fair to say, Taiwanese? Lady, you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Taiwanese, no guts. Okay, so he was 76 years old. Okay, yes, go ahead, Q&A.
Master, I'm obviously not Chinese, but maybe it's too long to use all the seasons, and I like those 2 seasons. I like those 2 seasons because like summer and winter are stationary, and this is talking about time passing, and those 2 periods are transitionary periods. So it's very poetic.
I disagree. Yes, 8.
Emily, where spring brings the beginning and autumn brings fall. And from Diego, he said, in Spanish we use something similar. We say primaveras, spring.
Yes. And autumn is what? This guy only gave us spring in Espanol, but he dropped autumn. Juan, what's autumn? Otoño. Thank you. It was in the tip of my tongue. I couldn't. Okay, because French is something similar. All right, so Q&A.
Di Đà Phật Thầy, tiếng Việt Nam thì Xuân Thu hồi trước kia có nói là Xuân Thu chiến quốc là một cái thời chiến tranh dài, một cái thời đại dài. Thì trong trường hợp này thì nói Xuân Thu cũng là một cái thời đại của ngài Lục Tổ. Một cái khoảng thời gian nào đó mà dài thì người xưa người ta xài chữ Xuân Thu là cái gốc là từ Xuân Thu chiến quốc ra.
I'm so ashamed of this guy.
Yeah, that's what Wikipedia say.
So he cheated. See, that's why I'm so ashamed of him. I feel so ashamed that we speak the same language. So he looked up Wikipedia, Vietnamese Wikipedia. Let Xianren translate. And this is why, explains you why I feel so ashamed. Lack of originality.
Thưa Thầy, Master, so spring and autumn, it used to be referred to the period of the 3 kingdoms in Chinese history, and then it was the period that has a lot of war happening. Mm-hmm. So we use spring and autumn to indicate that is like the era of the era of 6th Patriarch, and then when we want to express like there was a long period of time.
Okay, Chinese, go ahead and disagree with Wikipedia. Hang on, 8. Let's give Q&A the chance.
There is just a little mix up between 3 kingdoms and then spring and autumn. There are different times. Anyway, but I think the general concept is, yes, there's a historic time period called Chunqiu, and there was also a history book called Chunqiu, and also there's also all this literary meaning. We're talking about the same thing.
No, I disagree with the Chinese. Just say you're wrong. I'm for controversy. It wakes people up from their sleepiness, from eating too much for lunch. Yes, 8. You don't have my problem. I'm helping you fight your sleepiness. Not only do I have to make sense of the scriptures here, I need to wake you up at the same time. Yes, 8.
Diego said, we only use spring. Catholic Daniel said, primavera is new, young, full of life. Autumnal is decay, old death. Anna said, it's death and rebirth.
Death and rebirth, okay. Yeah, 3.
To elaborate on that, spring and summer, or spring and autumn, you can substitute for the Master's births and deaths were 76. So year to year, new year, and then the year ends, it's the death of the year. It's been 76 of them.
Okay. I can't argue with that. It makes sense too. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. 6? No. 3 has a lot to say today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Master. So was it customary to be on a 15-year cycle for haircuts?
No. We go to that. Thank you. Let's move on. Thank you for the clue, for the reminder. Let's move on. Okay. Enough is enough. So he was 76 years old, which is in China, which is at that era, that's a long life, especially for someone who had a hard life like he had. Okay. And then, so he became a patriarch at the age of 24. So his whole practice, in order to qualify to be a patriarch, consisted of what? Yes. And we're going to go back to that once we cycle back to the beginning of the sutra again. Okay. He didn't practice much at all, right? Because basically, he listened a phrase from the sutra and became a 4th-stage arhat, yes? And went home and said, hey, Mom, I'm out of here. Good luck to you. Nice knowing you. Sayonara. So he left. Very unfilial kind of thing to do. Okay? But he's a future patriarch. Who are we to criticize him? Okay? He walked from his mom's house to the 5th Patriarch's temple. Probably took about 9 months, you'd say. Huh? And then he threshed rice for 8 months. So you're talking about a year and a half. So his practice has nothing to do with meditation, no chant, no Buddha recitation, no mantra, no sutras, nothing whatsoever. He worked. Isn't that interesting? He worked. Isn't that the proof that how wonderful the sudden teaching is? Huh? Boom! He became a 4th-stage arhat with one line from the Vasha Sutra. That's called sudden teaching. Isn't it? And then he thrashed rice for 8 months and he became enlightened. Okay? Because by the time the 5th Patriarch came to see him and say, is the rice ready? He replied, oh, it's been ready for quite a while. What took you so long, man? So 5th Patriarch said, okay, come see me quietly, discreetly. Okay? So tap his cane and his back. He said, back meaning when I'm lying down at 3 o'clock in the morning, come see me. Don't you sleep tonight. So he came. Okay, so he became a patriarch at the age of 24. Okay, and then so he became enlightened. The patriarch, meaning that he's destined to do great things later, But he still had to hone his skills for 15 years. This is where the work is. Okay, after he became designated the patriarch-elect, incoming patriarch, okay, he has to work his butts off for 15 years. Okay, then he showed up and started working. Okay, and in particular, this is important that he became a monk before he started teaching. He could have remained as a lay person to teach. To him, it's the same whether he wears the monk's garbs or not. He still knows what he does. Okay, but he shaved his head. Okay, go through this ceremony thing, big deal for the other monks at the time. Okay, and relied on the Sangha to transmit him the monk's precepts, which he doesn't need those Sanghas to transmit to him. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of adamant about this. Lay people should not be teaching Mahayana on their own. They need to teach under the umbrella of a monk. Hopefully that monk should be better than they are. Because otherwise, they should do like the 6th Patriarch, shave their head and teach, if they have real wisdom. This is my personal opinion, okay? No one else's. All right? 314. For 37 years, he spoke Dharma to benefit living beings. 43 men inherited his Dharma, and an uncountable number awoke to the way and overstepped the common lot.
说法立身37载，四法43人，悟道超凡者，莫知其数。
Okay, let's see what kind of okay, so, all right, is there anything else in terms of commentary? Okay, so he taught for 37 years, okay, and part of teaching is that he spoke Dharma, okay. Message to all of you, future important people, Mahayana out there, you have to teach the Dharma. You have to speak sutras. You have to explain shastras. You have to teach Vinaya and so forth. You have to speak Dharma. You can't just say, I teach Chan. You're not propagating Mahayana. You say, I only teach meditation. I only teach reciting Buddha's name. I only teach mantras. You have to explain sutras. All right? So this monk here set the standards for us to follow. He's one of the most revered monks in the history of Chinese Buddhism. Okay? He sets the standards for so many of us in the future. Okay? And in order to benefit living beings, you need to speak Dharma. You don't necessarily have to do charity work. You don't have to build bridges. You don't have to build stupas and temples and so forth. You have to speak Dharma. These people, these great men, okay, showed us how to do it. I don't know anyone who has greater wisdom than Master Huineng. Who are we to contradict him? to question him. Or even if an emperor to label him as excellent or exemplary or outstanding or extraordinary and all those things. Who are we to dare put an adjective on what he does? Okay? So you have to speak Dharma to benefit living beings. Okay? And 43 men inherited his Dharma. Inherited as his Dharma means that they understood his Dharma at a high level. Otherwise, you cannot call an inheritance. What you inherit something of value, like an apartment building. Yes? That's a value to us. For these people, these 43 men who are enlightened already, what's the value to them? What do you give them? They would consider valuable. They would call it an inheritance. Okay? So these people, the depth of understanding of the Dharma is pretty high. Q&A, go ahead.
I just want to point out that in the Chinese text, it didn't say man, it just says person. 43 person.
She's discriminating against men, I think. Go ahead, Ahong.
I mean, 43 people, not person. It's plural.
Go ahead, A. Tell them they're wrong.
Catholic Daniel said, I think that when you do charity work, it's an excellent way to preach God's word without saying anything, my opinion.
Hallelujah. I'm for doing charity work, but it's not for the great patriarchs. Anyone else? Why does it sound offensive to you sometimes? Okay. Praise the Lord. Okay. Men, not women, no people, no persons. He says men. Why can't we just say men? Why do you have to be politically correct? I disagree with you. It's men to me. It's not 女人. It's woman is 女人. 人 is men. I'm sorry. What is the matter with you? I'm a monk. I don't have to be politically correct. I don't have to be nice. This is my sutra lecture. I don't care what you say. Okay? I'm sorry. Why can't we say men? Why do I insist on men? Chinese are wrong here. The Chinese don't understand their own language. Why do they say men here? Listen. Go ahead, Q&A.
Với Phật thưa thầy, khi mà giác ngộ rồi không có mà đàn ông đàn bà gì cả, chỉ là dùng chữ men.
That's right. Don't translate. I don't want the Chinese to learn this. For goodness sake. Okay, go ahead, Sienrat. I'm translating anyway, just to to spite the Chinese.
Master, after you attain enlightenment, there are no longer discrimination between men or women.
Yeah. Who wrote this sutra? Phá Hải. Yes? Phá Hải is enlightened. So in his own words, he says, men. Okay? Because back then he's Chinese. Run back then is men. Okay, Chin, let's arm wrestle over this.
Offering a perspective that maybe he had non-great disciples.
Yeah, here it's perfectly okay to use men. Don't use women, because I don't feel we need to kowtow to today's pressure to be politically correct. That's baloney. We're talking about a text is written years ago by a man, okay, who had no discrimination whatsoever. He chose to use men. That's translated as men. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not our fault. Yeah, go ahead. The woman here. She's going like this. See, now everyone is going to want to give her a microphone. Oh, she wants to say something? That quiet woman. Yeah, go ahead. You back there. Yeah.
So it was actually men, or was it men and women? But he wasn't discriminating.
Yeah. It's you could say men and women. You could even say men for short. The same thing. But yeah, continue.
I don't think most people would understand, because if they're reading the sutra, I don't think most people would be enlightened to understand that when you say 43 men, you mean 43 men and women.
43 people.
Yeah,
is the understanding, but they use the word men.
Yeah, yes, I get that, but especially today, I don't think people would understand the term men as a substitute for the term of people.
So? Eight.
Catholic Daniel is asking, men refers to humanity?
I don't know. It could be 43 individuals. Okay, because sometimes you say person is not respectful enough. Because these 43 individuals are outstanding. How could you call them persons? If you want to be picky about it, I would object to persons. I would object to people. I would say 43 individuals. If you want to be precise about it, okay? You can slice and dice it any way you want. It doesn't matter. Stick to men for now, okay? Oh, God. What I wanted to stress is inherited, okay? Sufa, okay? What does this Chinese character mean? Help me out, please. Dictionary, Chinese dictionary. What is this thing? Is it Su? What does it mean? This is important, because we need to know what kind of people, what are they do, these 43 people. What is it about the Dharma they know? are they looking? Let me see how quickly I need to move. 5 more slides away. What does it mean?
It means inherit,
Inherited?
descendants,
Okay.
heirs.
How do you pronounce it?
四
Su.
四
Su. Okay, Su. Okay, inherited. Fine. So 43 men inherited his Dharma. Inherited is the colloquial way of expressing the concept. These 43 people were his Dharma vessels. The correct, the precise Buddhist term is the 43 people who were his Dharma vessels. Okay? Meaning that they got the great dharmas from him. Okay? It's very impressive that he got 43 such great individuals. Okay? So my guess is that these 43 people are not all men, of course. We know that there were some women there, women great disciples of his who were there. Okay, but suffice to say, these great people, the stress is inherited. Okay, to me, what I pay attention to is the number 43, which is very impressive to me because I look my master. Can't say it's 43. I cannot say the 43 of my master's disciples, 43 men and women. Maybe now that we're in the 21st century, we should say the proper words. I cannot count on my fingers 43 great men and women who inherited Master Xuanhua's Dharma. No way. Okay? I'm not sure I can count how many inherited his Dharma. Anyway, so the great master had 43 outstanding monks and nuns and lay people. I assure you, these 43 here also included lay people. Knowing him, it wouldn't stop him from transmitting his Dharma to lay people as well. Okay, and in my opinion, these lay people, if they're enlightened, they understand the Dharma, it's perfectly okay for them to go and propagate the Dharma under a monk who's inferior to them. Perfectly okay. But they should teach the Dharma under an enlightened monk. All right? Otherwise, the unenlightened monk will crucify them. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, it's just a word of caution. But 43 great individuals penetrated his Dharma. To inherit is that you got something of great substance, of great value. Okay? So that's very, very impressive. 43 people. You see, that's his level, is that he trained 43 great individuals to carry on the Buddha work. Okay? And an uncountable number walked to the way. An uncountable became enlightened. Uncountable. Among the uncountable, there were only 43 great heirs to his Dharma. That's the proportions, if you will. Okay? And overstepped the common lot. I don't know this English phrase bother you or not. It bothers me. Okay? It's not respectful. Okay? What's the proper way to say it? The Chinese is Wu Dao Zhao Fan Che. Okay? The wait on the way. Okay? Zhao Fan. Zhao Fan is you surpass the ordinary. You don't say overstep the common lot. It's like you are so common. You know? No. It's just like they surpass the ordinary, exceed the ordinary. It's not derogatory at all. Okay? See, and an uncountable number walked the way, and the ordinary surpass, transcend, thank you, that's what I'm looking for. Transcend the ordinary is much more accurate here. That's what Master Fa Hai says. Fa Hai is an enlightened monk. He doesn't have this, this mind says, you're so common. Nothing wrong being just a normal person. All right? So transcend the ordinary. Please correct it. Thank you. One more here. Okay. Now, the comment here is 43 of his disciples were great disciples. I don't think so. I don't think he had many great disciples. The proof is that they only recognize 7 patriarchs. So those would be considered great disciples. The other 39, in my book, are not great disciples. They are outstanding disciples, but the contribution is not big enough. Okay, so 43 would be in the range of 7th ground, at least 7th ground, and of them, 4 of them probably reach the upper echelon of that. Anyone? Just for your reference, it's below 7. Not much to talk about. They still don't know how to teach the Dharma, therefore they cannot be considered to be outstanding. All right, but great is reserved for special individuals, like Master YongHua. I would not call his disciples great, for example. The depth is not there. Okay. 316. The rope of belief transmitted from Bodhidharma, the Mona rope and precious bowl conferred by Emperor Zhongzong.
达摩所传信衣，中中赐摩那宝钵。
Okay. Correction. The rope of belief. What kind of English is that? It's faith, not belief. Buddhism is not by belief like, Catholic Daniel. I believe in God. We don't believe in God. I mean, we believe in God, but we have faith in the Buddha. There's a difference. Okay? Belief here has my judgment. You understand? Please correct me, you English and white people. Yes, I'm racist. Okay, so that's a complex inferiority, you know that. That's why I'm racist. How else would it be racist? Because you feel you're inferior. Never mind. Okay, belief, okay, is based on verification from your thinking mind. Please help me. Agree or disagree? Faith is from your tummy, your heart. That's a distinction in Buddhism. That's why the Chinese has Xin, which is the heart, also the mind. And it's by design. When you're confused, Xin refers to your head. When you're enlightened, Xin refers to your heart. That's why the Chinese is uncommitted, because they, by design, they're too polite to alienate the common lot. You know what I mean? So, the role of faith, not belief, please correct it. There's no belief here. Either you want to learn Mahayana, by the way, you need to have faith. I don't need you to believe. Care you believe or not. You can believe in God. You can believe in Jesus. You can believe in Allah and all those things. It's perfectly okay. But you must have faith in the Buddha's teaching. Because that's why in our world, we can have both. You can believe in God, you can believe in Jesus, you can believe in Vishnu and so forth. There's nothing wrong with that. We embrace that. But faith is what you need to penetrate Mahayana. Please make sure you understand that, you English-speaking people, Western language people, this is why in Mahayana it's not about belief. I believe in God, for example. I believe in Buddha. Never say I believe in Buddha. Ever. You say I believe in Buddha, you're insulting Mahayana. I have faith in the Buddha. I have faith in my good no advisor. Why do you need to have faith and not belief? It's because you cannot understand no matter how much we explain to you. You're too stupid. I'm not looking at anyone in particular. You're too stupid. Been trying to explain to you for years now. You still don't get it. Okay, look at this way now. Okay? You don't understand no matter how hard I tried. So all you can do is have faith that I'm right and you don't get it. That's all you can do. That's how you get there, folks. You don't get there because you believe. Okay? Is that clear? So the robe of faith was transmitted from Bodhidharma. Okay, fine. Next. I'm so worked up over these translation things because they destroy the quality of the seeds of Mahayana we're trying to plant here for you. If I sit there and say nothing and I don't get emotional about this, you think, oh, what's a master making big deal? What is faith and belief? What's a big deal? Okay? It's a huge deal. It's the difference between enlightenment and the common lot. (317). 3 more slides. As well as a lifelike image sculpted by Fang Bian and others, articles of the way were entrusted to the attendant in charge of the stupa and were permanently retained at the Baolin Bodhi Mandala for the Bodhi Manda's protection.
即方便塑施真相，并道具永正宝林道场。
Why they use Bodhi Mandala and the Bodhi Mandas? Is there a difference, folks? Chinese people, is there a difference here? Is there a need for emphasis between Bodhi Mandala and Bodhi Mandas? It seems to me it's the same place. Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. I'm obviously not Chinese, but my understanding is that a Bodhi Mandala is a depiction and that a Bodhi Manda is a structure that you sit on.
Unless you sit on, you can't lie on? I mean, okay. I'm sorry, I'm being picky, but...
Intended for you to
but
meditate
this image
on.
of someone sitting on my church, it really is annoying. Sit on my church? Sorry, it's just so graphic.
I thought the Bodhi Manda was like a 6x6, like circular platform. No, I obviously wrong. Okay.
Go away, Tibetan people. Just kidding. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just kidding. Okay? Chinese people help us out. Huh? Okay, never mind. Chinese people on vacation. Okay. In Chinese, it seems to me, Yongchen, okay, Yongchen Bao, Yongchen, I don't know what Yongchen means, okay.
Yongzhen Baolin Dao Chang, so they made this stupa. 并道具, I'm not sure what it's referring to, but 永正宝林道场 meaning it's the protecting the Baolin way place. I'm not sure where Bodhi Mandala came from.
And the Bodhi Manda, they added these things, that's why. Anyway, it's too petty to pick on them like this. It's not fair to these people, okay? It's okay. It's not that important, okay? It doesn't detract from the Mahayana teaching at all, so we can ignore it. Okay, next. The Platform Sutra has been transmitted to set forth the principles of our school to glorify the Triple Jewel and to benefit all living beings.
流传坛经，以显宗旨，兴隆三宝，普利群生者。
Okay, this is probably came from Fa Hai, the guy who transcribed this. Okay, and that's the end. Okay. Let's do it again. Glutton for punishment. Oh, man of my heart. Q&A.
I just have a comment that it's an interesting fact that Qin Liang, Great Master Qin Liang, was born 25 years after the death of the 6th Patriarch.
Yes.
So end of one era and the start of another great one very soon.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the advertisement. Okay. Anyone else has a comment? Questions? So just for planning purposes, next Sunday we start lecturing on chapter 1, as this Chinese lady here kindly reminded me. The announcement is next Sunday. We continue our lecture series with chapter 1 of the Invocations Sutra. And so we're jumping into the sutra text itself, okay? And so this first chapter here has a lot. We will go by it very fast because it has a lot of names. It describes. It enumerates the names of these attendees, and these are big shots, let me tell you. For your name to be mentioned in the sutra, you're a big shot. And don't be fooled by saying that, you know, he's a god from the heaven of the fourth dhyana, and his name is mentioned in the sutra, and he happened to be in the audience, sitting next to the Buddha. Those people who are names are mentioned who are next to the Buddha, huh? They're not ordinary people, ordinary gods. No matter what you call them, you can call them, hey, you, call them God, emperor, whatever. Okay, you got to be this close to the Buddha, and then your name is mentioned in this particular sutra. You are extraordinary. Okay, so the mere fact we get to hear these names itself is tremendously beneficial for us, especially the people behind us. They get tremendous benefits to that. Will be very helpful to them, for them to go to the Pure Land. So, okay, so that's why next Sunday we start first chapter of the Invocations Sutra. It's the introduction, very first chapter. And then, because of that, we swap the sutra lectures. So now, Friday night, starting at 8, Master Xianjie, we start lecturing on a prologue. We move the prologue from Saturday afternoon to Friday evening at 8 p.m. Okay, so now we'll be lecturing on sutras 3 nights. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. Friday night from 8, we'll do only, the Friday night lecture will be only from 8 to 9:20, 9:30 maximum. Okay, we shorten it because it's Friday night. What's the matter with you? Have a life. Yes, 6.
Were we talking about it? The Koreans are asking for it to be 8:30?
8:30?
So they have enough time between the 2 lectures?
Okay, 8:30 it is. We don't care. It's Friday night. We can start a little bit later. Okay, so you have more time for dinner. Okay, 8:30. Thank you for pointing it out. So plan for about an hour and a half, let's say. Okay, if you complain it's too long, I shorten it to an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, that's the normal lecture length at my master's time. Okay, all right. So 8:30 to, let's say, 10 o'clock is the prologue lecture on next Friday. So we move it. And next Saturday afternoon at 12:30, is it? 12:30, we cycle back to the beginning of the 6th Patriarch Sutra, and we explain again the 6th Patriarch Sutra from in English or 21st century perspective, because we had to do it, as I said, because when I first started 4 years ago, I obediently and respectfully, obsequiously followed Master YongHua's style, okay? And now it's time for us to get out from under his shadow and do it our American style, okay? So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's not going to be Chinese at all. We'll still consult the Chinese and welcome the Chinese input as well. But I think it's worthwhile to revisit that, because this is the most important text we have that documents how one of the greatest teachers in the history of Chinese Buddhism taught the Sutton teaching. Okay? And unfortunately, the Chinese explanation, in my opinion, doesn't do justice to this style of Sutton teaching. And we should not be afraid to take chances and interpret it from our times, from the perspective of our 21st century, and put more emphasis on the Sutton teaching. Okay? So that's our stamp, American Sutton teaching. Yes.
Master, for Saturday lecture, after do we do the rebirth transference as well?
Saturday lecture?
No, Friday lecture, Friday night lecture.
Every single Friday lecture, for every single lecture we do transference, because it's for the additional work, it would be tremendously helpful to for rebirth, people seeking rebirth, especially during this short period of 49 days only. The more blessings, the better. So absolutely, we will have transference. Every single sutra lecture. Okay? 8.
From Jane, starting a bit early for East Coast people at 8 p.m. Pacific PCT.
So for East Coast people, they asked that we move it half an hour earlier. Okay? Let's see, 8 o'clock. So that's 11 ECT. Okay? 11 to 12:30. What time do bars close in New York? 6 a.m. We have plenty of time. What are you complaining about? Seriously, you guys. Yes, 8.
Kennick said 8:30 p.m. on Friday will be overlap with mantra session. Mantra session is from 9 to 10 p.m. I think in Korea was Venbo Shenji.
It doesn't overlap with mantra session. What is Kennick's coming from?
On Friday night at 8, from 9 to 10 p.m., they have mantra session.
Where?
In Korea.
Who cares? Excuse me? It's Korea. We are United States of America. Yes, 8.
Ju Kong. In Korea, we prefer 8:30 because that's 12:30 for us on Saturday. Otherwise, we don't have time to do lunch. Don't worry about the mantra. We need to change that one. Emily, 8:30 p.m. is Chicago time, 10:30 p.m.
Anyone from Europe at all? in the future, we're going to open a way place in Europe. I'm telling you in advance. Brace yourself for it. And every time we set up a Thai Sutra lecture, and he said, oh, but it's 2 a.m. in Europe. Or Kamchatka, Africa. Oh my God, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna have to lecture every single day just to you know. Oh yeah. Give an inch and they ask for a mile. Oh, good Lord. "8:30 it is. Okay? And because Master Xianjie says so, you can complain with him. Okay, hey, guess what? It's exactly the end of the lecture. Time is up. Huh? Thank you, everyone. Yeah, good job. Thank you so much. It's fun, huh? I mean, I'm serious when I said thank you. I'm not joking at all, because it's you who came. And I must admit to you that I go off script every single lecture. So it's not my fault, it's your fault. Because I only responded to you. And whatever you did drove me away from my common lot. Okay? So it's fun, this kind of thing here, because it turns out that you inspired me and to misbehave and make a fool of myself. And so together we're making music. We're making this, creating something here called the American Mahayana or something. Okay? Even though so few of you are Americans. I mean, are white. Okay, everyone, thank you. Okay.